A caravan of Americans is crossing the Canadian border to get affordable medical care.
Here's a summary of the article.
We're on a #caravan to Canada because the USA charges astronomical prices for insulin that most people can't afford, tweeted Caravan member Quinn Nystrom as she shared updates on the journey. Nystrom was among a group of Minnesotans who piled into cars on Friday to make the 600-mile journey from the Twin Cities to Fort Frances, Ontario, where she said insulin, the hormone patients with type 1 diabetes rely on to regulate their blood glucose levels, can be bought for a tenth of what it costs in the U.S. The caravan was organized as part of a campaign launched under the banner #InsulinForAll to call on the U.S. government to regulate the cost of life-saving drugs, including insulin, and make medication affordable for anyone who needs it. Calling the cost of insulin in the U.S. a price crisis, the #InsulinForAll group noted on its website that since the mid-1990s, the price tag on insulin in America has skyrocketed more than 1,100%, according to data from Truven Health Analytics, despite the cost of production for a vial of analog insulin costing less than $10. A recently released report ordered by Representative Elijah Cummings, a Maryland Democrat who chairs the House Oversight Committee, found that millions of Americans who rely on insulin were paying up to 92% more for the life-saving medication than patients in other countries. Posting a photo of a Walgreens pharmacy store on the caravan's journey to Canada, Nystrom wrote that the group could have ended our #caravan to Canada in 5 minutes, but unfortunately, they charge $300 for insulin. So, we will travel another 5 hours north, so we will only have to pay $30 for a vial of insulin. In addition to paying exorbitant prices for insulin in the U.S., Nystrom told local news station KARE 11 that she also pays $380 a month for her health insurance premium and doesn't see her insulin costs reduced until she reaches the $2,800 deductible. Insurance no longer covers the type of insulin that she would use if her insulin pump were to fail. In Canada, the pharmacist is happy to sell me whatever type 1 want. A group of Americans living with type 1 diabetes journeyed to Canada to purchase insulin at a dramatically lower cost.
This post received a score of 13,049, with an upvote ratio of 86%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
According to this source, insulin is classified as a behind-the-counter drug in Canada. No prescription is required, but you have to talk to the pharmacist to get it. If you have an American prescription, then you can import it to the U.S. for personal use.
We've known how to make insulin for years and years. This isn't some exotic HIV drug still undergoing risky human testing, it's insulin. This is a case study of capitalism gone wrong in the healthcare industry. This is a company multiplying the price of a routine drug that's made by the gallon times 11, because they can, because insurance will pay for it and incrementally bill the cost to customers.
No, it's obvious to those in power too. It's just less profitable. It's much more psychologically comforting to believe that the other out there is dumber than you and if only they knew what I do, rather than recognize that they simply have no concern for your well-being. For example, do you know the number of people involved in the oil and gas industry who are devoutly Christian and call the end of humanity the rapture? Think about that.
Fucking dominionists. God gave us custodianship of the world so we can reduce it to toxic slag if we want. I'd never let one of them house it for me.
It's called medical tourism, and it pumps millions into the economies of Latin American and Asian countries.
My dad saves so much by going to Costa Rica for dental work, it's eye-popping.
Eyes should not be popping when doing dental work, no matter what country it takes place in.
But you can save 15% or more on dental care by switching to Costa Rican dentists.
Plus, vacation in Costa Rica.
Pura vida.
This is similar to when Canadians were going to Seattle to buy new cars because the prices were so much better in the US, and our currencies weren't that far apart in terms of valuation. Then, it became illegal.
Canadians still go to Costco in Bellingham because of prices.
I still buy beer every time I'm home, Connecticut, because it's almost twice as much here, Ontario.
How much beer are we talking?
No more than $1.24, otherwise you have to pay taxes on it.
Damn, we should build a wall and get Trump to pay for it.
Coming into our country looking for drugs.
And let me tell you, we're not sending our best.
Mostly the people with problems, like diabetes.
If they can't afford to buy insulin, then they shouldn't have gotten sick. Cheap insulin would just encourage more people to get diabetes.
Precisely. If they didn't to be diabetic, they should have eaten lentils, like St. John the Baptist, instead of rich, sugary food.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.